It's the SMT Media Network back with another video for you guys. It's an NBA edition. This one on the great, fantastic, incredible Victor Wembanyama. This is such an incredible young talent. One of the most unique players I've ever seen in the NBA. One of the most unique, just dynamic, physical specimens I've ever seen in the league. This kid is absolutely incredible from a physical stature standpoint, movement standpoint. It's just a unique package, right? This guy is one of the tallest players in the league, right? I'm not sure how many guys are taller than 7'4", but he's got movements like a guard. He's really incredible. But I want to talk about what he's doing for his team, good and bad. So let's start with just what's going on with the Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs are currently 18-16 overall, 15-13 within the conference, 6-9 away record, and then 6-4 in their last 10. Notable wins recently: they got the away win at Denver, they got a win against the Clippers, and then an overtime win against a pretty good Atlanta team. Notable losses: they're struggling to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, looks like a matchup issue, and also losses to the Knicks and 76ers. So they're having trouble with teams that are pretty good. Anyways, the wins that they're typically getting are teams against like the Pelicans and the Blazers. So they're kind of a team that's kind of forming their identity. They're pretty young outside of Chris Paul. But really, it's all about the development of Victor Wembanyama. Wemby is such an incredible player. When you watch this guy play, he's just different, right? So I want to talk a little bit about his game and what he's doing well and what he's struggling with. All right, when it comes to Wemby just dropped 35 on Joker. Now, that's not crazy. A lot of guys can score a lot of points on Joker. He's not a very good defender, but keeping up in the points, right? Dropping 35 points. Joker had 41 for what it's worth. But Wemby had, 4 assists and 18 rebounds. So he was really active within the game. Joker finished with 41 points, and then he had 9 assists and 18 rebounds. So, you look at these things and it's like, yeah, maybe Joker kind of outplayed Wemby, but Wemby kept pace and he kept up. He had a steal, he had 2 blocks, so he was pretty active defensively. In my opinion, that's one of the things that makes him special, is his defensive prowess, his ability to recover, block shots. He plays the passing lanes pretty well. I mean, just he's got those gifts, right? But kind of what was telling is he shot 4 of 6 from 3, which is a really good percentage. He did have 7 turnovers in the game. He had 5 fouls, so a little bit of foul trouble watching there. Okay, so in my estimation, I do think Joker outplayed him a little bit, right, in some ways. Joker only had 2 turnovers. So maybe, I guess, Wemby, you could say kind of struggles with a guy like Joker, who is a seasoned veteran and MVP, probably the most dynamic offensive player in the league, if you think about it, right? I know he's not fast. I know he's not super athletic, but the guy just knows how to play the game, and he's super effective. But I want to talk about Wemby in this video, so here's where I'm going with this. The turnovers are a problem. The three-point shooting is a problem. Okay, so in games where Wemby, and this is just in the month of December, games where he took more than 8 threes, they have 1 win and 4 losses. And then you think about that, and it's like, why do we take so many threes? Why are you so far from the basket where you're going to be most effective and you can hurt the other team more, right? And then I look at this from another perspective. Games where he has 4 or more turnovers, 1 win, 4 losses. There's a kind of I don't want to say a correlation, but there is a connection. When he takes care of the ball and when he doesn't overshoot the threes and take a bunch of bad deep threes, I'm talking about the 25, 28-foot variations, they seem to play better, right? It's just the team is in a better position to win. Now, for the year, he's shooting 36% from 3. League average, whatever. What is league average? Like 35% or something, right? So he's right around league average. That's not special. You can say he's special for the position. Oh, he's so tall and he get to hit threes. The rim doesn't care if you're tall or if you're short if you hit threes. The scoreboard doesn't care. Your opponent doesn't care if you're 7'4" and you can hit threes, or if you're 5'4" and you can hit threes. It impacts the game the same way. So if you're shooting good from 3 or bad from 3, your height doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. He's 88% from the free throw line. He's only averaging 4 attempts a game. And when it comes to offensive rebounds, he's averaging under 2 a game. He has a teammate who is averaging more offensive rebounds than he is. Some guy named Jeremy Sochan. I've never even heard of him. Now he is averaging 4 blocks a game and a steal. 10 rebounds. Those things are all fine and fantastic. He could probably even do better, which is incredible to say. But at 4 turnovers a game almost, right? That's where the concerns are. It's the 3-point shooting volume and it's the turnovers. Now 70% of his shots in the paint are going in, which is 10% above the league average. He's shooting 49% in field goal percentage overall in the season. Paint area looks need to be increased for this guy to become better. His 3-point attempts need to decrease. His average from 3-point is average. He's the same as everyone else. He's 7'4". He's spending all this time 25 feet away from the rim where he can't hurt anyone. Opposing teams are taking breaks. They're relaxed. They are chilling on defense when this guy is far from the rim. You're giving them what they want. So what I think needs to happen, and this is just my opinion, and I'm just watching, I'm like any of you out there. I'm seeing the 7'4" guy 25 feet away from the rim. That's as relaxed as I'm ever going to be. If I'm an opposing team, if I'm the defense, I'm happy with whatever happens out there. If he's going to make 35% of those shots, just like everybody else in the league, I can live with that because he's making 70% from the paint. Just do your numbers. Where the hell should Wemby be taking more of his shots? Should he really be taking... I want to show you guys something to kind of prove my point. This is a shot chart. Spurs versus Clippers in November in 2024. Do you see those green circles in the paint right around the rim? Those are makes. Do you see the red X's? 1, 2, 3, 4. He was 0 for 4 from 3 in the first half of this game. And there's 2 more misses. We'll call them deep jumpers. And then he's got 1 missed paint shot that's kind of like, I don't know, maybe about 7 or 8 feet from the rim. That is a horrible shot chart. Maybe he was off that game, and nobody's perfect. But if you're making your shots near the rim, why aren't you taking more there? And here's where I'm also going to prove my point. If you guys look here on this screen, you'll see he makes 71% of his shots near or around the rim. That's huge. And if you look at the size of the circle, and you look at the size of the circle for the 3-point shot at the top, the volume is almost the same. That's not smart, and that's not good basketball. Wemby can't hurt you from out here. He hurts you in here. If I'm a defense, I'm good with Wemby out here, making 33% of his corner threes, 35% of his corner threes, 32 and 31% of his wing threes, even 39% of his top of the key threes, especially when they're deeper, when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6 feet back. He's only hurting me from the paint. So here's how I'm looking at this, and here's how I'm going to end the video. I'm looking at the December games, and I'm seeing how they're getting their wins. In most of those wins, Wemby is shooting less than 7 threes a game. 6, 5 of them. Those are the games where he's probably hitting those threes in the flow of the game. He's not forcing threes. He's not taking those 27, 28 footers. I'd like to see him taking 4, maybe 5 threes a game in the flow of the offense. And maybe it's because the team's not very good and he might be pressing to score. That might be part of it. But part of his development is going to be decision making and how he gets his shots off. And I think from the coaching staff to his own player development, I think it'd be wise for him to take more of his shots where he can put stress on the defense, really do damage and make a higher percentage of the shots. After all, he is an average 3-point shooter.